For almost 2 years now, I've been trying to get everybody to go to my link tree and read the Pedro filing. Now that eyes are being opened because of the Epstein files, and I've been telling you that the Epstein Island is not the worst Epstein Island. Okay, one worse than that. You saw the Sound of Freedom, that island. Remember the little boy, Simba? That's Pedro from the Pedro filing. Do you know what happened to him after Sound of Freedom? When they tried to destroy us to make sure that the Sound of Freedom movie would never become a Sound of Freedom movement. Well, they have failed. And a part of that failure is the exposure that you will read about in the Pedro filing. Pedro Flores is Simba. What happened in the aftermath of Sound of Freedom was these lawfare warriors who set out to destroy our child rescue mission. Okay, it was led by attorneys Alan Mortensen and Suzette Rasmussen, along with one of the most evil creatures that you'll ever come across, of a traitor, a former friend, a former sister, a former operator named Celeste Boris. They went down to Colombia. Go see what they did to him. They used flattery. They used bullying when that didn't work, when the flattery didn't work. Ultimately, they resorted to a bribery, an alleged bribery attempt to get Pedro to sue me, along with the person who trafficked him. Brilliant idea. It didn't work because Pedro actually has integrity, unlike my enemies like Trader D, who supported these efforts from behind the curtain because he wanted to sit in the throne. That's David Jacobs. You can learn about him. Read the Pedro filing, guys. It's the basis for the script of a Sound of Freedom sequel and documentary. Read it. We gave that. Now listen to this. This is very important. We hand-delivered this filing, which would have been the biggest story in Utah in a decade. Okay, because it showed that I won, that I was actually the good guy in the story, not the bad guy. But the Utah media, why do they want these bad guys to be the good guys? They gave them all the airtime. They lied about me because they're running cover for the deep state of the LDS Church, who started this whole campaign. KSL is owned by the Mormon Church. This is very important because we handed the Pedro filing to them. They should have told the story, but they didn't tell the story. They covered the story. Their cover-up of that story now becomes a big part of the story. Read the Pedro filing, everybody. Okay, Pedro Flores, his life was almost destroyed. We had to go rescue him again, but he rescued me because he refused to fall and lose his integrity like David Jacobs did and so many others. 99% of my so-called friends. He stayed true. He knew that we had rescued him, and he refused. Because he refused to play ball with who I would call terrorists, okay, of children, they came after him. The cartels came after him. They exposed him. Okay, Alan Mortensen actually exposed him publicly, which is another felony in Colombia. And we had to go rescue him again. It's the craziest story. Read the Pedro filing. And I'm going to share this with you. I feel a little bit weird because this is Pedro talking about me and how he feels about me. I feel the same about him. Listen to what he said recently in a post about me and about really us, our team, for what we did for him. And I thank God for what he did for us.